No. It's not news per se, but I was thinking maybe what if I usually have a little sting at the start of each episode. I was thinking what if we recorded a little something to kick off the next episode?
Like a little special?
Like a
Like
little
what?
just I don't know, say
You
something
want to just
funny.
joke around for like 2 minutes
Say
and
something
like randomly just like, because I can do it. I can do it. I'm good.
Yeah, we can do something. I'll be like, hey, Joey Sailor's here. How y'all doing? I know episode.
Okay, well that
Maybe
kind
not,
That was
maybe not Joey Sailor's, but you know.
Please.
Joey Salads. Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Brad. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Spain.
I'm calling from Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm calling from Magdalen Island.
And wherever you are, welcome to Blond Radio. Hi, I'm Brad. I live on the west coast of Canada and I love long walks with no destination in mind. And welcome to Blond Radio, where every week I book calls with strangers from around the world. Today we'll talk to Jaime, who made a difficult choice in his education, Aaron, who went all in on his passion, and Camille, who's using art every day to pursue happiness. We've officially made 15 episodes of Blond Radio together, and I couldn't have done it without you. So this week, at Blond Radio on Instagram, I asked you, why do you tune in to Blond Radio? Here's what you had to say.
Hi, my name is Mia, and I'm calling from Sydney, Australia. I listen to Blond Radio because I just feel like there's something so powerful about hearing normal people speak about their passions. It's so inspiring and it makes me really happy.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm calling in from Syracuse, New York. I tune into Blond Radio to feel more connected with other people and to feel inspired creatively.
Hey Brad, it's Alex from Surrey, BC, and I listen to Blond Radio because I feel it's such a fascinating portal to so many perspectives and conversations I wouldn't get otherwise.
My name's Sophie. I'm from just outside of Toronto, Ontario, and I listen to Blond Radio because I love to hear other people's perspectives on the world around them and what gets them motivated.
I'm Ollie, calling from England. I listen to Blond Radio because when you're feeling kind of down and grey, it's like two friends come along and take you on a journey to somewhere brighter. Makes you feel happy. It makes you feel at home.
Thanks to everyone for submitting the responses, and we'll hear more answers throughout today's show.
Hey, Hale, how you doing?
Doing good, sorry about that.
Hey, don't worry.
I'm Brad, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You could call me James or Jamie or whatever.
You're cool with Jaime? That works?
For sure, yeah.
Awesome, sweet. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Spain, from Madrid.
Madrid. Damn, that's sick. I think you might be the first person I've spoken to from Madrid. That's super cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm honored to have you.
I feel honored. Yeah, I am, for sure.
It's mutual. I guess, first of all, if you could sort of tell me about you. Tell me, who you are, what you do, what got you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I'm studying to be a pilot, a commercial pilot.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I was studying a degree in aerospace engineering, you could say. Yeah, things didn't work out the way it should. I dropped out and I got into, you could say, a place where I didn't know what to do. I've always wanted to be a pilot for the army.
Mm-hmm.
But the requirements to be a pilot here in Spain are really, really hard, or at least to be in the army pilot.
Right.
So thankfully, my parents were able to afford the pilot school. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. But before that, I spent 3 years in the US. I studied 10th, 11th, and 12th of the high school.
That's so cool. That's such an awesome experience. And it can be tricky, I feel like, in university to sort of figure out exactly what you want to do. But it sounds like you're on that course now, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know if it was something I was fully into, but at the first touch of what it was for real, right. I fell in love with it. It is an experience everyone should have.
Totally.
And yeah, about the university, it is really hard because you're forced to choose your future at a really early age of your life. It's crazy to think about it.
Oh, totally. I think out of everyone, I graduated from high school with, I'd say maybe under 20% started a degree that they ended up finishing. You know, university is so important to figure out what exactly you want to do, which is, it's kind of tricky because it can feel like you're wasting money.
Yeah, it is. It is like for real. And even there, because in Spain, at least, we have like a public schools, public universities,
Oh, cool.
which it is really cheap to go. For example, I was paying 800 euros a year to go to
A
university.
year. Wow.
Yeah, and over there, I guess it is like 20,000, 30,000 a year probably.
Yeah, it can definitely get up there for sure. But
Yeah, so that's a lot of pressure putting into a kid to choose right, you know? You never know what you want to do unless you do it unless you do it before.
oh, absolutely.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm explaining myself.
That's you know, in an ideal world, it'd be maybe like more a mentorship thing where you could try your hand at a bunch of different things, but I don't know. The system just seems in place for so long now that it'd be tricky.
Yeah, it'd be really tricky to change it.
I was looking through your feeds and stuff, and you're quite the world traveler. Would your friends describe you as pretty extroverted and out there?
I'd say so. I don't know, like I really like to travel and I love to go anywhere, like anywhere with anyone. If someone says, hey, I want to, for example, a couple of friends of mine wanted to go to Italy. It was for just a day. It was like to spend the night over there, like party over there and coming back because the flight was crazy cheap. I think it was $10. Yeah, so I just hopped right in. Like, what's to lose on having an experience? Even if it's bad, it's an experience you're always gonna have, you know?
Oh, for sure. And then, like, I won't say appreciate more, but maybe equally the bad experiences, because then even if it is like pretty bad, you learn a lot from it.
Right. You learn a lot from it. For example, like when I dropped university, I got into a really, really big mental health issue, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I got into depression because I didn't want to feel useless, you know? I didn't want to do nothing with my life. That is pretty bad. But I'm thankful for it because now I know that even if you have your lows, there's always going to be like a really, really big highs. For example, right now, I'm really happy I chose the way I chose, and I wouldn't change the experiences I had before.
Totally. Sometimes it takes being at a really low to appreciate the high highs, you know? Very good. What would you say was the hardest part of coming to that decision of like you're 3 years into your university and you say, this isn't it, this isn't for me?
It was probably I just didn't like it. I thought I liked it because I was really into the rocket science. I loved it. I really loved maths. I really loved physics as well. But it wasn't the same. I wasn't happy with my life, to say.
Right.
And I was just doing it because I got pressured into do it. Because the first year it was fine. The second, maybe it's not for me. But my parents, they pushed me into studying, into finishing it. And then at the third year, I wasn't enjoying it at all. That's the first thing that it pushed me to drop it, you know?
Because you have to do it for you. Are you on a better sort of understanding as far as like your future with them?
Oh, yeah. Because at first they didn't believe me, but then they saw I wasn't the same as I was at first. I was starting to feel bad. I was starting to feel sad, you know? And they noticed it and they said, maybe it's true. I've never been the study guy, the kind of person that always studies, and that's a big requirement for the aerospace engineering. Maybe they thought I just didn't want to study anymore or something like that, but in real, I was just not enjoying it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, they totally understood.
That's good though, that you could, come to that place of understanding with them. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I was wondering, in closing, what advice could you give to someone who feels like they're too far down a path that they're not really into, like either in their career, in their school, in their life? What would you say to them?
I'd say to just follow it sounds kind of cliche, you know, but just follow your heart. Like follow what you think is right for you. Because at the end, you're not living to satisfy everyone. You're living to satisfy yourself. Like you're living for yourself, not for everyone. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. And even like, I think it'll positively impact the people around you too. If you are living for your, for your desires and goals, like it sounds like you're in a much better, healthier place now. And that probably positively impacts the people around you.
Oh yeah. Like everyone's going to notice. When you're feeling bad, everyone's going to notice. And when you're feeling real good, you're feeling like you irradiate happiness, like
totally.
Everyone's going to be happy around you because you're feeling good with yourself. But if you're too deep in a path, you want to leave it, just go for it, man. Like at the end, if you regret it, you can always go back. For example, if I want to go back to study it, like I can resume it, If you don't take the chance to not do it, you never know what's going to happen if you don't.
Words of wisdom. I live by that. That's so good. Awesome. Thank you for those words. That's beautiful advice, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course. That's about it. Any exciting plans for the rest of your day?
Probably going to watch a good movie. So if you have any recommendations, I'll take them.
Oh, man. That's so hard.
Can I recommend you one if you haven't seen it?
No, go for it.
It's a French movie. It's called Untouchables.
You know what? Like so many people have recommended that to me and I need to watch it. It's been on my list forever. So you know what? You're only helping the cause. I should watch it.
You have to.
I have to
for sure.
They made a really bad English remake over here, and
I saw half of it and then it dropped it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Some things should just, stay in their language and culture, and because it just sort of hits better.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Awesome. Again, thank you, Jaime, for being so open and honest and just sharing your words.
Sure, Brett. Thank you.
Thank you. Sweet. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.
You too, man. You too. Take care.
Ciao.
Hey, Brad. This is Ari calling from the Netherlands. Blond Radio makes me feel like I'm at home for some reason. It shows me other perspectives in the world and how people jumped over certain obstacles in their life, and it's just very inspiring to me.
Hi, my name is Agustina, calling from Argentina, and the reason why I tune in Blond Radio is because I love the vibes. In every chapter I felt relatable and mainly comfortable. It is like a safe and artistic space for me. Thank you.
Howdy.
Hello, Aaron. Nice to meet you. I'm Brad. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from, we'll just say roughly Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Jesse said about the same thing, and he was like, yeah, you wouldn't know the town.
Mostly no one knows where Worcester, no one knows where Marlborough is. We just say Boston.
Yeah.
A suburb off Boston, we'll say.
Totally. First off the bat, just sort of give me like the history of Aaron and how you got to this point. What made you who you are today?
Sick. Aaron, me. I'm just this, at least like throughout school, I was just this nerdy kid, or at least music nerdy kid who was just into playing in bands, and I would just, stay up late playing gigs, at bars, even though I was underage, and I just did that forever. And then I got into music production and recording music, and then I moved in with a family who was starting an independent record label, 5x2 Records. I kind of moved in with them to kind of just do this thing full time, and I became a producer and just kind of kept practicing this whole thing. And yeah, man, it just turned into my full-time gig, and that's kind of just what I've been up to, and that's how I connected with Jesse through this. But yeah,
totally.
It's been probably like I've been playing in bands since I was 15. I'm 20 now, but the production side of it, I've been doing that for like 3 years or something like that, and here I am.
And here we are. And how early did that seed of music get planted? Like, was it super early or super young?
Yeah, I mean, my uncle played. He lived with us when I was born. He was always there playing his guitar. I always saw him playing the guitar, and I was always fascinated by the guitar and how it sounded and stuff. So I was always into music as a kid. And then, so it was always a thing. I was weird because everyone, listen, I'm a Latino boy. And like everyone plays soccer. Everyone plays sports. And I was the one weirdo who decided to do music.
Right.
Don't know why. That's just how it went.
Very cool. Yeah, so it's just kind of always in the house and always around. That's
basically, yeah, I went down that lane.
And tell me about I don't know if you've spoken to it elsewhere, but Pillbook as a name, like that's I don't know why it's like very visually grabbing. Where did that name come from?
I want to have a fun story behind it, but I don't. We were at a coffee shop that I used to hang out at. Like I used to skip last 2 periods of school and just hang out at this coffee shop, like this old rundown coffee shop. There was a book called The Pill Book. It was about not every medication, but most medications out there and kind of just what they do and their side effects and stuff like that. And we were in desperate need of a name. This is when Pill Book was a 3-piece band. And so we just took that, and I then after a while, it turned into a solo project. And then I decided to just join it into one thing and then just add the PLBK at the end of it and kind of have that as the logo for a while. That's where that came from.
Beauty, for sure. And I was actually speaking to another kind of like producer, musician friend last week, and he brought this interesting point. It feels like, especially 2000s, 2010s moving forward, it's kind of rare to be, just a musician or just a producer. It feels like everyone's trying to get their fingers in everything because it feels like you need to be that adaptable.
Yeah.
Is that the way you see it trending?
That's how I see it. I mean, like, everyone kind of just wants to be able to do everything themselves. Like, you don't have to outsource for like a recording, or at least that's kind of like the mentality I'm seeing around here, is that if I can get a great sounding product without spending thousands of dollars, like you'll do anything in your power to be able to do that. So, the internet is a fantastic resource. And I mean, YouTube was the main thing. That's kind of just the way it's going. You see so many artists that pop out. It's like, wow, they recorded, they mixed everything themselves. And then that's inspiring to a lot of people. And I definitely think that's probably the new wave of how music is being made. I think big studios definitely have their place. Big budget studios. But for the most part, you have everything on your laptop. You have a full studio on your laptop. People are only just realizing that now. By now, I mean like in the past 10 years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And as you're speaking to, like, I took a university program for digital media, and it was great to look on the resume, but I honestly could have learned 90% of it off of YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
It's like there's
YouTube is
so
wild.
much resources out there.
I say I graduated from the University of YouTube, man. Honestly, it's kind of just the way this record label works here at the house. It's like we figure out everything. It's like, I don't know how to do this, but we're going to figure it out.
That's so
kinda
sick.
Website building, like screen printing, stuff like that. We kind of just look it up, figure it out, trial and error. That's just how it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I dropped out of high school. I mean, obviously school wasn't for me, so I got to figure out how to do something. Yeah.
All power to you. Well,
what did you go to school for?
Oh, God. I did like a year and a half of creative writing, hated it, dropped out, went to a different school, and then did a year-long certificate in digital media production, which was a little bit of a joke, but
oh yeah?
Yeah. But it got me a job, which was chill, but then COVID hit and I lost that job, so here we are.
What was the job?
Marketing, which was fine. It paid the bills, but I'm so much happier to do this now. I put like 50 hours a week into this and I make $0. It's great.
Content creators for the win.
Hell yeah. But sort of, okay, as a producer, in contrast to a musician, how does, God, this is kind of a weird question.
No, go on, bro.
Like credit as a producer role, how much does that impact you? Because it's this weird thing. You put in a ton of work and people see the finished product, but they don't necessarily associate you with it. Because traditionally, I feel like producers maybe fall to the side.
Absolutely. And I think it doesn't affect me as much. I mean, as long as I'm like pulling my weight and adding it to my portfolio and then promoting it on my end, I'm chilling. Like, I'm not too stressed about it because at the end of the day, I'm practicing my skills. I'm practicing my craft, and it's something for my portfolio. And it's something that kind of, I don't know, that I can point to later on down the road. It's like, hey, what have you done? Oh, I just did this. And like, it's just another thing to add to, my socials. Like, hey, I worked on this, like, check it out. I think it's super cool to take the backseat. What that does is it makes me, I don't know, eager to take the driver's seat when it comes to my music. It's like, all right, I'm kind of sick of just doing this. Time to make music on my end, on my Spotify,
Hell yeah. And I see you have some demos going and a new album in the works, it looks like.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been, well, that's kind of how I kind of got good at producing. Was when I moved here to the house, I decided to work with deadlines. So what I would do is I'd write mix and master a song every month for a year. And I did that, and a goal was to write an album. And that was the first step into doing Pillbook as a solo project.
Right.
And then I went on tour, so that had to stop. Like, I was just existing in my room, and then kind of just leaving to just use the restroom. I was grinding these songs out. Oh, yeah. Then I went on tour, COVID hit, came back, and I kind of just worked on these quarantine session songs, which were just like remakes of my old songs, because like something about playing in front of a camera terrified me. So I said, screw it. I'm gonna perform in front of a camera and not just put it on YouTube, but put the audio on Spotify.
Wow.
So so that was super terrifying. I was like, screw it. Honestly, I thought it was gonna go terrible. I was like, you know what? I'm just putting it out there. I'm probably gonna hate it. I put him up, and that's how I got into contact with Jesse.
Oh, wow.
Jesse found the videos, and he's in the same circle of bands that we kind of book with here in Massachusetts, and he found the videos. He's like, yo, let's work together.
That's sick. Yeah. And then I guess that's also another thing that sort of comes out of that producer role. You're always making connections too.
Yeah, definitely. You're always looking for a new challenge, someone to take on. Yeah, that's basically the big one. Like, I can't just, make music and expect, clients to come. You kind of just have to be like, hey, like y'all need recording.
And then we've spoke to this a little bit, but what's the hardest part about staying on that grind, going through your feeds and stuff? It seems like, like you're speaking to, you're usually always in the studio.
Yeah. My social life, it's getting better now, but at one point I was being brutally honest. I was quite lonely, but that was just something I accepted early on. I was like, you know what, man, like I want to be good at this as quick as possible. And if it means like not having friends, I do not care. And I had just moved here and I didn't know anyone. I'm only now starting to meet people out here, but definitely took a toll on my social life for a little bit. It got quite dark at one point. But then when I started seeing like the final product, like, finally songs are up on Spotify, like, damn, I could actually do this. I went to that session with Jesse and I felt confident the entire way. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I took the right path.
Hell yeah. Yeah, if it all works out and if you see those benefits of kind of like what you're putting out as a risk, then sure.
Yeah. It definitely sucks, I'll say that. The process of making, a song definitely sucks. But
of course,
if you're confident in that you'll end up with a nice polished product, it's fine. You just kind of just deal with it.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Aaron, for taking time every day to speak with me. But in closing, what advice would you give to someone who feels like they don't have the means to create art, but they desperately want to? Like in your case, it sounds like you just kind of chased it regardless. What would you recommend to people?
Yeah, it's 2020, man. It's 2020. You have the resources, even though you may not realize it. You have the resources, you just don't realize. I'll say that.
That's beautiful.
Use your resources efficiently. Yep.
Word. Like, everyone has a smartphone. Like, you're not...
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. You can make the next big hit on GarageBand.
And at some point, I think you're just making excuses for yourself if you just, keep talking about not having the means.
Oh, yeah. You could definitely fall down the rabbit hole of like, nah, I got to buy this. I got to buy that. Like, gear definitely helps, but you'll realize that you can make a lot with what you just have now.
Totally.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you, man. That's about it. Thank you for, again, taking time out of your day.
Thank you. Brad, it was nice finally meeting you.
Of course, yeah.
It's like, Brad. It's like, well, I have never met this Brad. Finally meeting this Brad.
And sorry for the back and forth there. Sometimes the DMs are just...
I'm sure your DMs are wild. I'm sure. But you're good.
Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, so...
Yeah.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Well, I wish you the best, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I'm always here. Always chilling.
Good to know. Have a lovely rest of the day, man. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye, Brad.
Ciao.
Hey Brad, what's good? This is James and I'm calling from Sacramento, California. The reason I tune into Blond Radio is to hear stories from everyday people all around the world and then see how these people have learned and grew from those experiences. It's really just eye-opening to look and see different perspectives from various different people, from various different backgrounds all around the world, and see how those experiences affect their day-to-day life. Thank you for your time, Brad.
Hi, Brad. I'm Ernesto from Mexico, and I listen to Blond Radio because I really like hearing about other perspectives different from what I thought, and also hearing those that are similar of what I've thought. I really like it and I really enjoy it. Love your show.
I'm Brad. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. How was your day?
Doing good. And yours?
Pretty hot.
Pretty hot. Yeah, I can imagine. And this is Camille, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Hey, you said it right.
Did I?
Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Magdalen Island in Canada.
Yeah, I looked at the pictures. I haven't placed it on a map yet, but like from pictures, that's crazy beautiful.
Yeah, it is actually.
Well, I guess first off the bat, tell me about you. Tell me who you are and what you do for people that don't know you.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's a scary question. It's kind of so broad.
It is.
Like, I am a journalism student, but this year I realized maybe I'm more of an artist. I was like, I've never called myself that. I was like, oh no, that's not me. But
oh, really?
Yeah, this year I was like, why not? I mean, I've been doing art since I was a kid. I used to write screenplay when I was like 8, and then I would recruit my friend and I would be like, okay, so you're that character and I'm the main character, of course, you know, and I'm the director and okay, I'm all of this. So yeah.
It just sounds like storytelling has always been like super fundamental to you.
Yeah, exactly. I also write. I write a lot of poems, and I got into photography when I was young because my dad is a graphic designer and also an artist. So passed down in the family, I guess we can say that.
Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, you sort of came into this environment, into this world surrounded by artists. It kind of makes sense to end up where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you know journalism was like what you wanted to pursue post-secondary?
That's a good question. Actually, I never wanted to really go into journalism because I always wanted to be, I wanted to be an actress for a while and then a photographer and but when I had to make a choice, I was kind of tired of all the wrong in the world. I was in a weird phase, and I guess I was like, I want to have a voice, and I was like, journalism is the way to go. But I mean, journalism has taught me so much about myself and how to be disciplined, I guess. But I've realized that if you are passionate about something, it gives you a voice, so you don't have to go into journalism to be like, okay, I want to stand for something. You can be whatever you want to be.
Totally.
And have a voice.
Yeah, that message you don't have to find it. It can come from yourself, which is super cool.
Yeah, exactly. And what about you?
What about me?
Well, I mean, you have some great journalism skills. You're a great host.
Thank you. I don't know.
It wasn't you.
Yeah. I've always maybe similarly been really drawn to storytelling. Like I grew up addicted to books and really good films and stuff. So it feels like a natural progression. But going through your feed and stuff, like you were speaking to, like photography was a part. There's a certain level of timelessness to your work. It's so, I don't know, like it feels like it could be pulled from yesterday or like 30 years ago. It has this really cool energy about it. Is that something you were trying to pursue, or did that just kind of happen?
Well, I think I didn't want it to be that way at first, but I think that it's kind of the vibe that I give like on a daily basis, not just on my Instagram feed. And then I got kind of inspired and I was like, I really like this. I like to take pictures, but with film camera. Yeah, I like the feeling of like having the picture in my hands and being like, that's a memory. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's definitely something different about when you can hold a photograph versus, flipping through on your phone. It
makes everything feel like it's a really unique moment.
For sure. You mentioned this in your message. You mentioned how art sort of is the thing that gets you through your day. When did that realization occur to you that like, oh shoot, this is actually the thing that I really care about?
I always knew, but I kind of didn't want to disappoint my parents and be like, I want to be an artist. It's it's always something scary because you don't have like a steady job or whatever. And then one day I was like, oh, you know what? Journalism, well, it's not, it's not that steady. So why am I doing this to myself? And I mean, my dad was super supportive. He was like, yeah, of course, I understand.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And is that something that you think about, like how uncertain art is? Is that still a worry for you?
Not at all.
No.
I know it sounds weird, but I've had a pretty tough year, and I've realized how like worrying about the future or worrying about what if we're like certain of something, you have to let it go. I just want to make something that I can be remembered for by, not really by a lot of people, but at least I want to inspire someone, at least one.
Yeah, that's super beautiful. If at least you change like one person's perspective or inspire one person, that's
exactly.
It sounds like you've been inspired in your life. So to pass that on is kind of like the classic artist goal.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, I mean, journalism can be something you can change something with journalism, but it's not the same. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
How so?
Well, I feel like when you're in journalism, you're telling someone's story, and it's really important, but I want to tell my story. So maybe that's where I am right now.
Do you feel like stuck in the middle?
A little, because I like talking to people, and I like meeting new people and hearing their stories. But yeah, I want to tell mine.
I think you're doing a great job of it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for taking time every day to speak with me, but I was wondering if you could give advice to someone. I thought that was really cool of how you just, you realized to let it go. But like saying that is a lot easier than doing it, I think.
Of course.
So
it is.
What advice would you give, or what tools did you find helpful in letting go that fear?
Well, my situation is really different because I was born with a genetic disease that kind of it made a lot of things in perspective. So I feel like I had like a different vision of life than someone who's really healthy. So I cannot really say, oh, you should do that, or it's not the same thing. But I feel like the moment you realize how you can do anything and you don't have to fit the standards and like please someone if you don't want to, that's the moment that you're like, okay, you're letting go of all of the things that are not necessary in your life, and you can be yourself and be free.
Yeah, shifting that perspective from, other people's perspective to what do I really care about?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's very, very beautiful.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. Any exciting plans the rest of your day?
I wanted to go for a swim.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that warm out there. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Oh, yeah, it is. And even like the sea is warm. It's crazy. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, you're swimming in the sea?
Climate change. Yeah.
Very brave of you. Wow.
There's no shark. It's okay.
Well, definitely I'll look into that region that you messaged me where you live. I'd love to sort of see a bit more what that's like, because that sounds super cool.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to travel in Canada, you should definitely come.
Yes. Oh, my Lord. This is the best and worst time to be making friends online because it's like travel is so... But yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we'll definitely be in touch. Have a lovely swim. Best of luck.
Thank you. Have a nice night. I don't know what you're going to do, but...
Yeah. We'll figure something out. But
yeah.
Cool. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Ciao. Special thanks to Jaime, Aaron, and Camille for making this episode possible, as well as everyone who submitted a response online. Intro music provided by Wayfie, that's Wayfie, and accompanying tracks by Loboil, that's Loboil, who can both be found on all major streaming platforms. I'll see you soon, and thanks for tuning in to Blond Radio.